Hey, this is Jim at Broadfield. Thanks for joining us for another Broadfield Liquid Lunch and Learn every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. One of the most exciting things I get to do on this show on a weekly basis is introduce some exciting new products. And today we have a great new product to introduce to our dealers. It is the SanDisk Professional G-Raid Project 2. And you will see I am being joined by a special guest on today's show. Hi, Nitin. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, thank you very much for having me on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. We love to introduce new products to our dealer channel, and we always have the opportunities of inviting our dealers to join us at trade shows like the NAB New York show that just passed. And it's a great way to pick up the products, touch them, play with them, and see where it's going to fit into the line card. We don't always have an opportunity to have the next trade show coming up in just a couple of weeks. These guys are hitting our warehouse now. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to show it off virtually. And I really want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to help us with that.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be, with the team here.
Awesome. Great to have you. Nitin, can you do me a favor and take a moment to introduce yourself to our dealers and your role as SanDisk Professional?
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Nitin Kachwaha. I have been with Western Digital for more than a decade. I was actually initially part of the legacy HCST/G Technology product team. But as we integrated, many companies together and made what Western Digital as it is right now. So back in 2016 with the SanDisk acquisition, my role kind of expanded to lead product management across various brands and different customer segments beyond the media and entertainment that G Technology was focused on.
Yep.
So I was away from G Tech or G branded products for the past couple of years or few years. But I'm glad that these products are now back. I get to manage them again. And so, I work on product management for SanDisk Professional portfolio now.
And that's awesome because SanDisk Professional is going through another one of those business identity changes where there is going to be some division of efforts. Broadfield is your source and your distributor for all SanDisk hard drive spinning disks like the G-Raid Project 2 we're going to be talking about today, as well as the SanDisk Professional flash-based storage like the ProBlade series, which is actually integrated and works perfectly with the G-Raid project. So we're going to talk about both, and we're going to introduce you to the exciting new product. So Nitin, as happy as we are to have you on the show, let's talk about the real star of today's show, and that is the brand new G-Raid Project 2. What exactly is this product, and how does it fit into that SanDisk Professional family?
Yeah, happy to talk about it, and very excited for having this product available in the market now. So this is our latest generation G-Raid Project 2. Right, this is the newest product in the G-Raid portfolio of products, which frankly speaking, have been widely used in this industry for more than 20 years now. Right, from photographers, videographers, all the way to Oscar-winning film editors. These G-Raids have been reliably solving people's storage needs.
Yep.
So over the last several years, this product has evolved, and with this latest generation, what has really changed is that this product now comes in. This is the same G-Raid that you've been buying in the past, but this one now ships in a default RAID 0 configuration. So out of the box, you will get the full capacity and full performance from the two drives. What's not changed, right, is that it still ships with really high quality enterprise class hard drives inside. So you will find two UltraStar drives inside this product, and of course it's going to come out of the box in a RAID 0 configuration. And just for people who don't probably recognize, these are the drives that go in all the data centers in the world, right? And all the world's biggest cloud infrastructure providers, they trust these drives to store all of world's data, right? So these are the same drives that go into this product as well. What's not changed, also not changed from its predecessor product, which was the G-RAID mirror is that it still, has two Thunderbolt ports in the back. So it ships with this, highly reliable Thunderbolt connection. It still has that ProBlade slot, as you kind of talked about a little while ago. So it keeps that. And out of the box, this is formatted in APFS, so it works with the Mac. But with the reformatting, it could work with Windows as well. And then one thing that we don't talk about enough is this use with iPads, right? So iPads are becoming more and more useful tools for professionals as well, right? More than the consumption devices. So you can actually now like with apps like Final Cut Pro, you can work off of directly the Final Cut Pro libraries that are stored on the G-RAID, while it's connected directly to a G-RAID. So that's a great functionality that we are carrying over from G-RAID Mirror. And then from a MSRP and capacity perspective, it's available in 4 different capacities. And from a pricing perspective, it is very similar to what the G-RAID Mirror is.
That's great. And with the combination of that Thunderbolt connectivity, the UltraStar drives, and even the RAID 0 formatting, this solution is really built to handle the speeds and the throughput necessary for even the most demanding video workflows. I imagine it's going to be up to the task of 4K, 8K, and even beyond, right?
Yeah, so I think when we look at a dual drive solution, how it fits into the portfolio, right? We do have, a variety of different kinds of product solutions, right? Single bay, dual bay, 4 bay, 8 bay. We have a bunch of SSD solutions as well. So this one sort of, is a sweet spot, would be more of a 4K, 6K workflow, right? If you are, doing work in the media and entertainment industry. It can, of course, also store data that's 8K, but then it really depends on. It gets into technicalities of what frame rates you are storing the data on capturing in, right? What kind of codecs you're using to compress it. Sure. But for a 4K, 6K workflow, I think this is a great solution.
Absolutely. And for our dealers that are familiar with the product line, it does start with the G Drive project, which is going to be your single drive solutions. The G RAID project 2, which is the new model we're talking about here, is your 2-bay RAID 0 solution. You mentioned the G RAID mirror. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And then for the more demanding workflows, the G Speed shuttles are still available within that product line, giving you the 4 and 8-bay solutions to give you that maximum workflow, not only throughput, but also flexibility of how you could configure those drives to match your production workflows. So, Nitin, I wanted to put a spotlight on the comparison between the G-RAID Project 2 that we're introducing today and the G-RAID Mirror, because in physical appearances, they look exactly the same, but in the formatting and in the use of the drives, they are really made for unique performance measures and different markets, right?
Absolutely, right. So I'm glad that we are kind of, we get to talk about this a little bit, right? Because, the reason we, created the G-RAID project 2 was we got a lot of feedback from, the industry professionals that, especially in the Hollywood and video-centric markets, that, what they were really looking for is a 2-bay high capacity storage solution that provides full capacity and performance out of the box, right? And often, like, they use these products as part of the workflow where, this is not really being used for as an archive solution, right? Where you would put. I mean, it could be used for that, but in the workflow, right? Oftentimes, you are using these products to quickly offload all the camera media that comes in onto one single drive. And so this becomes, out of the box, if it is not giving you the full capacity and full performance, it was creating a little bit of a bottleneck, right? And that's why we created, the G-RAID Project 2, which, comes in a default RAID 0 configuration, right? Some of the things that we did try to change, right, on the product is like, you'll see that, the G-RAID mirror, which, ships in default RAID 1 mode, right, the front of the on the front of the drive, you'll see that there is a G to differentiate the new project to, kind of bringing back that G. This is also a feedback that we got a lot from the team to be proud about, the G-Rate solution. So that is there, right? In terms of the box, what you will see is that we have a big sticker that says RAID 0. So you would be able to identify very clearly on the shelf which one is in a RAID 0 versus a RAID 1 configuration, right? And then even in the capacity label, so you'll see on the slide there, right? It's a little bit different, right? So you will see that for G-Rate Project 2, we are saying that you're going to get full capacity, right? When you plug it into the system. If you buy a 48 terabyte as an example, you will see 48 terabytes, and you will get performance of two drives together. So you'll get the full performance versus on a mirror, G-Rate mirror, right? The capacity label actually tells you that in default, you're actually going to get 24 terabytes when you buy 48 terabyte solution, because the other drive is being used for redundancy. And your performance is going to also be limited, right, to one drive, a single drive performance. So there are some sort of subtle changes between, or differences between how these two are positioned. And the G-Rate mirror, right, like, in terms of what's the difference, which audience are we catering to, with G-Rate mirror? It's really the pro photo people, right? Because obviously you could still configure these products, in a different RAID configuration, because there is, these switches in the back that you can toggle and change the RAID configuration. But out of the box, right, for photographers, they can store, like, on a 24 terabyte drive, you can store, like, hundreds of thousands of high-res images, right? And you want to make sure that there is built-in redundancy for those images, right? So in a professional photography field, I think having a solution that gives you that built-in redundancy by default makes a lot of sense. So in terms of how we are positioning it, the project 2 is really for the video people, the video workflows, and then the mirror is primarily for the photo world, right? The professional photography world.
Absolutely. And for our dealers, really what it comes down to is a great out-of-box experience. You want your customers to have a positive experience when they invest in professional storage like this. If they're a photographer and they see on the box itself that the 48 terabyte solution is going to give them 24 terabytes of storage in a RAID 1 configuration, with that redundancy, the G-Rate mirror is going to be exactly what they're looking for. A video producer who is working in a 4K, 6K environment like we talked about, they're going to want the speed and throughput. And we all know how much hard drive space video starts chewing up very quickly. So to get the 48 terabytes in that RAID 0 configuration makes that G-Rate project better, and it allows that G-Rate project to sit alongside on the desktop with their network attached storage environments, with the G speeds to give them the additional part of their workflow where they can configure both the speed and the redundancy. So in whatever customer you are talking to, SanDisk Professional has that right product along the product line. Now, Nitin, you talked about the professional photo market with the G-Rate mirror and the professional video market with the G-Rate project. And that market really starts the conversation with a lot of media and entertainment professionals that our dealers can start pitching these drives to. Why don't we walk through some of the different opportunities here?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, obviously the products out of the box being in a RAID 0 makes a ton of sense for film studios, right? People in the, working in broadcast episodic television, right? Content creators, YouTubers who are making a ton of videos. It kind of makes a lot of sense. But then because, it still provides you that high capacity, high performance, and it also allows you to change the RAID configuration if the need be, right? It also makes a lot of sense for, photography market also, right? You could use it right, for that if you want to repurpose the product. It also works with in the music production environment, right, where you have these high res libraries that you want to store, right? And oftentimes, like in music production, right, it's a combination of video and music, right, files as well. So it makes a ton of sense for all these different scenarios and people to use a product like this in their workflow.
And I love that you do highlight the content creators that are such a growing market now, because one of the questions that we see from that marketplace all the time is they want to invest in a professional storage solution without necessarily breaking the bank. They haven't created a brand or even an identity yet where they're willing to invest thousands of dollars in a multi-drive storage solution. The RAID 0 configuration with that 2 drive getting the speed that they need for the video is kind of the perfect compromise where they don't need to spend a lot of money, but still get the speed and the volume for them to do their video productions.
Yeah, makes ton of
And
sense.
and here we wanted to talk about some of the different challenges that customers run into all the time. And quite honestly, these are some of the key reasons that they would look at the G-RAID project too. So Nitin, why don't you walk through some of these pain points and how our dealers can help address them with this product?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the slide looks a little bit heavy, but it's really sort of the top line, right, which we are trying to address, right, in terms of key pain points. So starting with the high-speed data access, right? So we talked about, like, in the workflow, you want to move a lot of the footage, right, that you have captured onto a drive and kind of, from multiple cameras, and do it really fast, right? So, if you have a single drive, right? I mean, obviously it's going to run at a single drive speed, right? But with a dual drive solution in a RAID 0, it kind of doubles the performance, right? So you get up to 540 megabytes per second of read and about 490 megabytes per second write speeds on the product. And so you are able to, move all that data really, really fast, right? And these cameras, they are just going crazy, right? Like, if you look at a sort of an 8K camera, and if it's being used for movie production, right, and probably it's storing in 12-bit, right, and using a codec like ProRes Quad 4, right, it is capturing almost 2 terabyte or if not more per hour of footage, right, that you capture. So once you get, if you're using multiple cameras like this, right, and trying to, move all that data and centralize it in one location, you need something that is sort of high performance, right, and gives you that high capacity, right. So that's why the high speed data access, this really solves that problem. And then, it kind of delves into the other aspect of it, which is large storage capacity, right. And so, whether you are a videographer or even a professional photographer, you are using these high-end cameras, which lets you shoot beautiful images. Sometimes, like, even on a camera, you can do multiple, like, thousands of frames per second to capture it's everything in slow motion, right? So all this technology on the cameras just leads to massive need for massive amounts of storage, right? So in order for you to be able to store all these all this footage, you need something that is high capacity. And with 2 drives working in tandem, right, you get the capacity of 2 drives, right? So up to 48 terabytes in a very relatively compact form factor. So it kind of solves that problem, right? In terms of simplifying the workflow, right? Having this combination of large capacity and decent performance is a very sort of good combination. It solves a lot of the issues that you have in your workflow, which slows it down. But then on top of it, we also have this whole ProBlade ecosystem, right, where you could literally store, instead of using camera media, you can store stuff directly on this ProBlade, and then you can plug it in to one of these drives, and then offload all that content, into the drives at, very rapidly, right? Versus, you moving from camera media to a drive, and then from that drive to another drive, right? Instead of doing that, you do it directly. So you remove one step, which really simplifies the workflow, and it saves time, and time is money in the industry, right? So if you're able to save time, that means that you are giving a good solution to the end market, right? And then lastly, right, in terms of real-time editing, you can definitely do some lightweight editing from off of the drives as well. Right, you could do multiple streams of 4K video, right, right from your iPad, right? If you are using apps like Final Cut Pro, you can do like 4 or 5 streams of 4K, in a ProRes 422, and edit directly from the drive itself. So it does give you that additional bandwidth, right? Because setting this up in a default RAID 0 configuration, and that really helps in that part of the workflow in post production.
Absolutely. And when you talked about the workflow, we have to talk about the physical size of the unit itself too. I mean, it is small enough to fit into a travel bag. With the Thunderbolt connectivity, you connect it to your laptop, and now you have a high-speed, fully functioning storage solution available anywhere that you might be. Whether you need to start color correcting or VFX or whatever you need to do to your footage, it can be done very quickly and very easily with that G-RAID project too.
Yeah. So as you talked about, like the Thunderbolt connection is so powerful, right? Because you can really like daisy chain multiple products and be able to access all of them, right? Like up to 5 more devices over Thunderbolt, and access all of that through one connection that's, one cable that's connected to your computer. So again, it reduces a lot of the clutter that you see, right? Especially when you are out in the field, right? You want to be able to like minimize the clutter that's there, and be able to be more organized. And Thunderbolt really provides that functionality. And then the other beautiful thing about Thunderbolt is that it's a very professional interface, right? So every device that is Thunderbolt enabled goes through multiple levels of qualification, right? So it always adheres to a certain standard. And so you get that reliability of connection as well using Thunderbolt, which often sometimes you don't get that on USBs, just because USB is a much more open sort of connection that's used by millions and billions of devices actually, right? So that Thunderbolt connection is really important piece in this product.
And that's great. And I want to introduce and show off the product itself. And since you talked about the Thunderbolt connection, one of the first things I'll do is tell our dealers that Thunderbolt high-speed, quality-tested Thunderbolt cable is available in the package from SanDisk Professional. These cables are tested and rated to get you that maximum throughput connectivity to the G-RAID Project 2 or any of the SanDisk Professional solutions. So now I am going to do my best Vanna White impression as I hold up the product here on the table. Nitin, can you walk us through the G-RAID project?
Yeah, so in the front of it looks very similar to G-RAID mirror, right? So we've not really changed the design of the product, right? There is that Pro Blade slot, there is the G that's there. There is the LED right above the G. So things that we have, tried to improve with this generation also is like you will see that if you tilt it a little bit, right, we have actually a removable sticker on the top, right, to really help people understand how to use this product, right, and change the rate settings, right? So it's very easy to open the drive, and there's also a QR code, so you can actually scan it, and it directly takes you to a video which demonstrates how to open the drive, and then also to access the drives that are inside, as well as to change the rate configuration if you have to do so, right? So it's very easy to open. Like you just press on these two bolts that are on the top, the cover kind of slides off, right? And that helps you give you access to the 2 drives that are inside, right? And then even on the sleds here, the drive sleds here, we have added a sticker to help people understand how to take it out, right? So you have to depress the button here and then pull it out, and then it comes out easily, right? So
I get my good
That's
hand.
I know it's kind of hard to do it with one hand, but it's so there are things that we have tried to improve, looking at the feedback from the field on this, right? And then if you can turn it, back, right? Uh, it's very familiar, it's very similar to G-RAID mirror. You see the two Thunderbolt ports. One is the upstream and one is the downstream. So the one with the sort of the laptop or computer, that is the one that you plug in your cable and connect that to your computer. And then the other one, you can daisy chain other devices, right? Or hook up a 4K monitor to that connection, right? Then also you have the RAID control switch, right? So I mean, it's pretty straightforward to change the RAID settings on the device, but you still have to, like make sure you unplug the drive. There are some steps that you have to follow, which again, we have it available on our website as well as on, in the video. So that allows you to change the RAID settings without having to use any software on the computer. You can do it, manually. And then, of course, there is the sleep and wake button on the left. So, often what happens is that after a long time of inactivity, right, the system is gonna go to sleep, right? And with all the regulations that are coming up, everyone wants to make sure that we are not drawing too much power, right? All the countries in the world. So it does go to sleep after long periods of inactivity, right? So in order to wake it up, you just have to press the button until it's going to come back up, right? So you don't have to disconnect the drive or anything like that. You just have to press the button, the sleep wake button, and it's going to come back right up, right? And lastly, there is also a button to adjust the LED brightness in the front, just like the product G-RAID mirror that was kind of introduced at that time.
That's great. And then, like you said, it is the UltraStar Enterprise class hard drives that are pre-configured and included. The G-RAID Project 2 is available in storage solutions from 16 terabytes to 48 terabytes. So you have all of that capability. All of that is built into the machine itself with the design that we just walked through with Nitin here. Nitin, I want to talk a little bit about the ProBlade ecosystem. We've done webinars on this. Our dealers are pretty familiar with it, but we are carrying that ecosystem through with the brand new G-RAID Project 2, right?
Absolutely, right. So this is a really powerful sort of ecosystem that we introduced maybe a couple of years ago now, and it's really being well received, right? Every time we go to these trade shows and talk to people who use ProBlades, they have like really given us really good feedback, right? Because this definitely helps accelerate their workflows or solves some problems that they've had in the past. And it's very small and lightweight, right? So it's a very a great solution, true evolutions from our sort of evolution series that we had back in the day. So we have a multiple products that it goes into, right? So we have that Condor Blue handle, right? So which we could use to directly record from the camera directly to the ProBlade, right? As it's kind of attached to the handle on the handle that's attached to the camera. So that's a great piece there, right? We also have the ProBlade transport, right? Where if you want to, quickly, have this Blu-ray transport is a USB 20 gig, solution. So if you want to quickly access what's on your ProBlade, you just, plug it into your transport, and it's a portable thing. You can carry it in your backpack or your pockets, and you'll be able to, access what's on the ProBlade. There is the ProBlade station, which, takes it one step further. Now you can, ingest multiple of these ProBlades at Thunderbolt speeds, right? So that is another critical part of the workflow, where you have these multiple cameras recording on ProBlades, and you want to ingest all of that content simultaneously. So Thunderbolt connection allows you to kind of do that, right, at really high speeds. And then, last year we kind of introduced the ProBlade ecosystem in our G drives and our G RAIDs as well. So, both in the G Drive project and then in the G-RAID mirror as well as the G-RAID project 2, you will continue to see the ProBlade slot, right? So then, instead of buying or the separate transport or the probe blade station, you can directly take the whatever content that's there on the probe blade, you can plug it in to the this hard disk drive solution and be able to access all that data or move that data to a higher capacity hard drive like G-RAID Project 2.
That's great. And I think we have a video to cut to on the ProBlade series as well.
Yeah, that'll be great to kind of show like how it's actually being used, by professionals.
Excellent.
My name is Ivan Obaye, and I am the head of post-production here at London Allen. We work on projects with some of the biggest brands and artists in the world. In post-production, every day is constant problem solving. We're up against some pretty crazy deadlines from time to time, so we're always looking for anything that can accelerate our workflow. We were looking for something that had a small form factor that we could move around quickly to something that was very, very fast. And when we found the Pro Blade, that ticked both of those boxes. If you're traveling around with 4 of them, that's 16 terabytes in your pocket. And now these SSDs can transfer a day of footage in minutes. Now I'm getting pumped on nerd shit. They can go straight from the camera to the station, and then you start backing up to other mags. When we're working on multiple projects, where it really comes in handy is that you can just slide the mag out, hand it to your assistant editor or editor, and they're ready to go on all their edits at once. There's no transfer of cables or having to plug anything in. You're ready to go if you have the ecosystem. This actually feels like evolution. It's the biggest game changer I've seen in a long, long time.
So the SanDisk Professional G-RAID Project 2 is shipping and available now. You can contact your Broadfield sales rep at 800-634-5178. Nitin, thank you so much for joining us today and for helping to introduce the G-RAID Project 2.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show and giving me an opportunity to talk about the new product. And just for everybody, like if you want to learn more, I think you should go to sandiskprofessional.com or bestindigital.com. We have a lot of good information about the products, the workflows, some white papers, how people are using these products and solving their storage needs.
Excellent. Thank you so much again. G-RAID Project 2 is available now. Everything from a 16 terabyte to a 48 terabyte solution, pre-formatted in RAID 0 with Thunderbolt connectivity, the perfect storage solution for all your media and entertainment professionals. Check out this sizzle reel on the G-RAID Project 2 and call your Broadfield sales rep to learn more. And tune in every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time.
Great. Thank you.
Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers, so call us at 1-800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business.